Hi, everybody. It's Sandra Pelly, the Inner Dragon Transformation Specialist, as well as the Intuitive Inner Peace Mentor. I'm feeling very excited about today and tomorrow. There's a lot going to be unfolding and happening. And thank you so much for choosing to step into this journey for yourself. This isn't all about me. This is truly all about each and every one of you and your journey. And that's the magic of what we're doing. Um, I'm it's my hope that you guys had a chance to take a look at the Inner Dragon Archetype quiz. Very excited about that. That got released literally last night. For some of you, that might be a totally wrong time zone. I will drop the link for that a little bit later. We are going to also have a significant break on both days, and hopefully you'll be able to, take a walk during that time or really just take care of your needs during that time. Also, too, just really conscious of self-care during this, and really that comes back onto my own plate of really recognizing my needs. And so you guys get the benefit of my recognizing my needs. And if I tell you, hey, we're taking 3 minutes to stand up and wiggle around, then flow with that, okay? Um, so yeah, we're going to open this first of all with a beautiful grounding. I always channel the meditations as well as everything else that I do, and I really love having the interaction as well during this entire event. A couple of housekeeping things. Zoom is doing its wonderful magic of not letting me stream this into somewhere. So the replays will be placed into there at another date, possibly over the weekend. I know I've had a few requests for replays already because there are some really drastic time zones coming into play. And as well, too, if you want to take a look around you, you could see where your own fire exits are. Have a glass of water handy, writing implementations, a pen, pencil, coloring things. You never know what you feel you need to do during these processes. The journaling material as well. And you know what? If you have to leave, then you have to leave. That's okay. I'm not going to judge anybody for anything that they've got to do. I myself have created the breaks during this because I have something very specific I need to do during that space as well. So know that you are very much cherished and very supported during this. And let's slide gently into a grounding and an opening, okay? So taking a few breaths. And it's so interesting because I feel like there's music playing and there really isn't any music playing physically here, but I can feel this beautiful angelic music playing all around me. And so I invite you to really embrace whatever type of music is coming to you, whether that's the drumming, whether that's flutes, whether that's a song that you just absolutely love, but just allowing that energy, that frequency to come in and support you. Asking for the mind, body, and soul and all aspects of self to be willing to share and receive, to accept, trust, and believe, knowing that you are a beautiful individual, a unique being, and that you have your own very, very specific power. I just really want you to recognize the energy of that. If you don't know what it is, recognize the energy of that and feel the frequency, or at least admit that you have that, because underneath it all, it is such an intricate part of yourself that you really don't have a choice. It's there. Choosing to step into the powers of the I am. I am open with no expectations, no limitations, and I am creating the outcome. Support yourself. Give yourself a hug. I am love. I am loved. I am loving. I am lovable. I love me. I love myself. I am divine love. We are divine love. Know that while you're in this beautiful sacred space, that it is for the highest good, for the most benevolent reasons, and the greatest good of all. And calling in our compassionate spirit guides and the way shores, the angelic beings, the ancient ones, whomever your posse is. And from whatever realm and dimension, again, really knowing that they're here for the highest good, for the most benevolent reasons, and the greatest good of all. And know that even though we're not actively activating our little yous and our inner dragons and our physical beings, that they are all an intricate part of this as well. And taking a moment to honor yourself, just as I mentioned my name, the Inner Dragon Transformation Specialist, the Intuitive Inner Peace Mentor. I so too invite you to do the same in your space. Put to voice in your space your name and who you are in this beautiful sacred circle. Mm. And I love hearing all the echoes of that. That was beautiful. Thank you. For really just taking a moment to honor yourself and honor the guides and being grateful and in gratitude. And in respect of this space. And so it is. Thank you guys so much. Just going to kind of touch base on a couple small things as we flow into this. I'm going to talk for a few moments, and then one of the first things that we're really going to dive into is a piece that I love doing on these 2-3 day events, and that is the empathic part, because I think it's really important to recognize, first of all, that I truly believe, and you can take this to the bank for yourself or leave it in the dust. It's entirely up to you. But I truly believe that everybody is an empath. That's how we feel. That's how we go through the world. That's how we go through the day. And that's why we're affected by so much, is because we are all, each and every single one of us are empaths. And so when you think about that, there's a lot been going on. I was the last 2 nights I was literally laying in bed going, "Oh man, I wish I could sleep." And then last week it was like I slept so much. It was like I wish I could stay awake. So it's just so wild how the energy is flowing, and allowing ourselves to be okay with that right now, really. So I just really want you to remember that this whole event is about the little you and your personal self, as well as your inner dragon energy. And your little you has really been leading you around and protecting you. And that's what's likely influenced you as an adult. Sometimes we really think to ourselves, oh my gosh, why am I acting that way? Why did I say that? Right? Well, that's our little you really stepping in and protecting ourselves. But there's also moments when we really recognize that something really magical has been happening. And that's where our inner dragon energy has really been stepping up. And I've been having a lot of fun practicing with breath lately, and really starting to understand just how significant that breath work is, and that we are actually engaging that inner dragon every time we become conscious of that breath work. So as we were breathing our way through those pieces in the opening ceremony, the opening meditation, we were truly connecting with all those pieces of ourselves in a very, very powerful way. So the purpose of this Reveal the Incredible You has never really changed. It may have come in different names over the last years, but it's always been about that inner child and supporting the inner child. And now also too, like it used to be about the inner child and the higher self energy. And that higher self energy is that beautiful energy that's all around us that we're so connected to, that empathic part of us is really connected to. And more recently, over the last 7 to 9 months, the inner dragon energy has really been making itself known to myself, especially. And I've been bringing that to the world because I've been asked to bring that to the world. Um, and there's a whole row of events that have occurred that put me into that position quite comically. Having said that, it's just really recognizing that as that's been happening, I personally have been evolving, the world's been evolving, humanity, all creatures have been evolving, and also too really been shifting into this awareness of how the Reveal the Incredible You is evolving now as well. So this is the first time that this has been the Reveal the Incredible You meet your inner dragon. It always used to be about the inner child and higher self, but we're getting really close and personal now with that, the pieces that are really intricate in ourselves. And so that's why, first of all, if you've been here in the past, you are seeing some of those changes. If you're here for the first time, I truly do welcome you. And what I'd like you to do right now is just take a few moments to write down 3 things that you are really aware of. What are you struggling with, or what's holding you back right now? So I'm just going to give you a moment to take a note of that. Is what are 3 things that you're struggling with, or you think are holding you back? Hmm. In your awareness of those 3 things, you've you've kind of put them out there, not meaning that you're manifesting them, but that you bringing in a different awareness of them. And that awareness of them really helps you to start to move through them, past them, and what have you. And so again, I really invite you to take a look at those struggles. And what I'd like you to do is read that first one to yourself. I'm going to ask you to do that right now, and listen to this. I am open with no expectations, no limitations, and I am creating the outcome. Now take a moment to read your second struggle, or what's holding you back. Take a moment to listen to this. I am open with no expectations, no limitations, and I am creating the outcome. Take a moment to read your third struggle or holdback. I am open with no expectations, no limitations, and I am creating my outcome. I think the most important piece to this is for myself is this realization that because we're putting these to voice here today, this is something that's very front and center right now. I mentioned that I had created this beautiful inner dragon archetype. And when I say I created, you guys probably understand that it doesn't necessarily comes because of me, it comes through me. But I've also done an inner dragon quiz. I've also done a dragonfly quiz. And when we're doing anything, when we're answering questions in the moment, we're answering them always from where we're at in that moment. And where you guys are at in this moment, that's why these bits and pieces are coming up right now. Okay. And when we breathe our way through that, I am open with no expectations, no limitations, and that realization that I am creating the outcome, it helps us to shift into a different awareness around those. So thank you guys, first of all, for playing along and putting it out there, so that you have a better understanding right now of why some things may come up for you during this event while we're working with our inner children and our inner dragon. Does anybody have anything that they want to share about theirs? I could definitely relate to some of your guys's. Yeah, very much so.
I think,
and go ahead, Marion, please.
sorry, Sandra, what you said there, the last sentence you finished with, I am creating my outcome, which sounds better than the outcome, which I found was very, very different. Just even that one word made such a difference.
Yeah, very
Thank
much
you.
so.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we move into that awareness that it is actually ourself, it kind of shifts the responsibility. I have found that my own, like everything, I just want you guys to know that everything that I've been doing for the last 7, 8 years has really been this awareness of my own role in my life. And when we start to recognize our own roles in our own lives, that's when the real magic occurs, because we're no longer thinking that that somebody out there is going to fix our lives. It actually becomes our own responsibility, right? Yeah. Oh, that was beautiful, Mary. I recognize I'm approaching from limitations and expectations connected to change and going into the unknown. Man, I have stories about expectations on my own life. It's just, yeah, very, very powerful. Thank you for sharing that with you. So I'd also like you guys just to take a moment to write down what your goal is during this event, during this 2-day event of meeting your inner dragon and your inner child. What is your goal, and how would you like to feel at the end of this? And again, if you would love to share them into the chat, feel free to. If you'd like to come on camera and share them on camera, I would love that as well. So if anybody would like to do that, I'd welcome that. Does anybody feel comfortable coming on camera? Marion again.
It's unusual for me to be so forthcoming, but I think that's to do with our last get together that we had. For me, it's to feel whole and free to be me, and even more passionate about what I do.
Yeah, very powerful. Thank you for saying that. Putting it to voice out loud. Yeah. Al, yours is beautiful as well. Connecting deeper. Did you want to say it out loud?
Again, the dishwasher is going in the back, so I don't know.
We can't hear that piece.
Okay. Yeah, just connect deeper within myself and leverage more healing and growth out of that. So it's an aspect. When I did the exercises with you, I just felt connected with an aspect of myself that I had not before. So I want to explore it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Integrating child and dragon, being in my power. I know that's kind of what I wrote down as well. My goal is to connect more deeply with my inner dragon, and I want to feel empowered. So you can see that we're all kind of very similar here. I feel whole and free to be me. That's what Marion had said. If you guys want to throw it in the chat, that'd be wonderful. Okay, so now we've kind of got some goals in mind. We did a beautiful opening circle, and there's a couple small things that I really want to kind of share with you before we go into this even more deeply. So there's one piece that I've really noticed that has been kind of like the core of everything that I do. And what that is keeping it simple. Our human mind thinks it needs to be very, very difficult, and it creates bridges, it creates walls, it creates barriers, it creates boulders in the river. And if we go back to keeping it simple, that's really where the power is, okay? I just want to read Simone's there as well. The goal is staying in balance and harmony no matter what challenge comes up, centered in myself, speaking my truth in love and respect. Yeah. Isn't life simple at the end? For sure. Yeah, very much so. Yeah. And especially when we make that choice to have a simple life, right? Yeah. Okay, so there's four things that I'd like you to kind of keep in mind. You can probably possibly even write these down. There's one word that has been really detrimental in my mind, and in my heart to the English language, and that's that word try. We aren't trying to do things here. We are actually doing things. And when we move out of that awareness of trying and that we're actually acknowledging that we are doing something, it's just like when we're learning to do our shoelaces, we're doing that. We're not trying it, we're doing it. It may take a couple steps, but we are doing it. So really understand and recognize those moments when you're saying, well, I tried to do this or I tried to do that, and start to shift into that. Well, I am doing this. I did that, because you're going to move who you are more powerfully into everything that you do, because you are recognizing that you're doing it rather than sitting in that old energy of thinking that you aren't accomplishing something, because the reality is you are actually accomplishing something. You are actually doing something. So that's number one. Drop try and incorporate the word I'm doing, or I do instead, or I did. Number two is taking a breath. Something as simple as a breath is so impactful. I mean, when we go for our walks, even when we're standing there doing the dishes, if we stop and just take a beautiful acknowledging breath, do it right now, in fact, just take a breath. One of the first things you might notice in taking that breath is that breath became a different breath from what you're doing on a daily basis, right? It actually became a breath that you were aware of, and it actually became a little bit deeper, right? So you're really connecting with yourself in that way. Okay. I love what you wrote there too, Marian, about doing and not doing are equally empowering as it is a choice. Exactly. Trying is presupposed, failure in advance. Exactly. Yeah. Love what you wrote as well, Sadie. Empowered, aligned, aware, awake to see, feel, be, love, and be free. Exactly. Yeah, very much so. Yeah. The other thing is, this is a fun one. I love doing this, and I always was wondering where it came from, because I started doing this in my practice and I was like, I don't even remember where this came from. And then one day I realized that it was literally because of a trip to Disneyland with my husband and my kids. And I really dislike rides that send me spinning off in directions and are whirling me around. I've literally been inside of those capsules where I've burst open the door and had the person who's running it be really PO'd at me because I've burst open the door in the middle of a ride because I can't handle it. And so I was on this ride in Disneyland, and I started to go, woohoo! Now, each of you go, woohoo! What does it do with your belly? Right? So, what I want you to do is imagine that little you is on top of your head, and um, that there is a slide going down. And this slide is going down in essence to your heart space, but really recognize that you don't have to fabricate some difficult slide and whatever that has to be pointing into your heart space. Just recognize that that slide is going down and it's connected with the heart space, not necessarily going into your heart space. So imagine there's a small version of yourself on the top of your head, and that there's this slide before it, and it gets on the slide and it's like, woohoo! And it's sliding down that slide, and just feel the energy of that, right? So let's do this again. There's a staircase, and that little you is running up the stairs to go down this slide again. Hopefully you all like slides. And feel the energy of sliding down that slide and going, woohoo. Mm. Wow. That brings up so much joy. I'm almost in tears because it's so fun. So, Simone, what was your experience there?
Pure joy. Honestly, pure joy. I could really feel it. I was doing it myself and I was like, yay!
Exactly. Hey, thank you for sharing. How about yourself, Sadie?
Yeah, it felt really nice. Definitely, I put a smile on my face for sure. Yeah.
Love
And you can
that.
even feel your belly sort of goes the little hump as if you've gone over a hump.
Exactly. So this brain slide is what I call it. This is something that's been a really big part of the beginning of my journey. I don't do it so much on a frequent basis now, but I love incorporating it into things like this, where everybody gets to experience this joyful peace with our inner children. And if you're not a slide person, you can actually do this with a swing. So take a moment to imagine that your inner child, that little you, is actually on a swing, and that they're swinging around. Comically enough, I watched a reel the other day where the bottom line basically said, this guy's doing what everybody wants to do. And he was literally standing on the swing. And who, like, we all want to stand on the swing, right? Even though our parents are like, no, 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 it's not safe to do that. So there's an expectation right there, or limiting belief that we've already grabbed from our parents. Anyway, this gentleman's standing on this swing, and he is just going for it. He's going for it, and he's going for it, and his arc is getting higher and higher, and he actually goes all the way over. First of all, the courage that must have taken is massive. But I think we all want to have the ability to do that. So that's one of the other things that I really want you to recognize as we're doing this work, is that we have power. that when we're doing things in meditation, when we're connecting with our inner children and whatever other guides and our inner dragon, that we are the ones in power, and that we can actually do that. We can actually have that swing go all the way around. So let's take a moment to do that right now. Okay, so just feeling the energy of that inner child, that little you on the swing. Maybe you as the adult are pushing it, or maybe you're standing with them, or maybe you have them on your lap and you're on the swing. And just feel the energy of starting that beautiful arc. And letting it flow and flow and flow until you actually flip all the way over. Because know that you're absolutely safe, because this is just in your energy. I guess you could also ask your little you if they actually want to do this. Because if they don't at all, then don't force them to. Oh my goodness. So my little you was like, yeehaw! It was like almost like a spinning circle. There was no controlling my inner child at all. What happened for you guys with that? Write it in the chat there. Did your little you want to play along? Did your little you do one loop or go completely hog wild like mine? Like, it was so comical because when I was putting it to voice that maybe your inner child doesn't want to do that, mine was like, yeah, right, I'm going for it. So yeah, write it in the chat. These 2 days truly are about the simple steps, and you can see that these are small, simple steps that we're doing right now. I personally have set up the parameters, and every event that I do, all the things that I do, that everything is for the highest good, for the most benevolent reasons, and the greatest good of all. I really am showing you that you have more power than you think, and that you can change it. So if you felt like it was very scary to do something like that, then you don't have to do that. Go back to doing the slide instead of the swing, right? Marion did a few loops. I love it, at great speed. Beautiful. And Sadie did as well. And then that accept, trust, and believe. We opened with that, and just really kind of stepping into that, accepting that you have power, trusting you have power, and believing in all of this. So having said that, thank you guys so much for kind of like that introduction to me, if you will, in a playing format. I used to call these workshops, but I really just like the word work. My little you really wants to play all the time. So So any questions or any comments before we go into the next step of this, when we'll dive into the empathic part? Any questions, any comments? Raise your hand. I guess that's something I might want to mention is down at the bottom, there's the react button. If you click on that react button, you can actually see the hand raising thing. And what that hand raising thing does is it actually puts you onto my screen in a place where I'll see you more easily if you are raising your hands. Okay, rather than your physical hand. I'll wave back at you if you raise your physical hand. Simone went and did one loop there. Love that. I'm going to take a breath and a drink while I wait to see if any of you have any questions or comments.